I'm Allie Madonna, reporting from Heinz Athletic Center, where the Hagen School of Business has hosted another successful event in their Careers in Sports and Entertainment Dinner Series. Distinguished guests of the night include Pete Kelly, class of '94, currently with Major League Alumni Marketing, Josh Rubenovitz, Director of Marketing at ESPN, Tony Chute, class of 2010, Brand and Retail Manager with the National Football League, and finally, Michael Zenka, Senior Coordinator for the United States Tennis Association. MassCom's field reporters caught up with the featured guests before the event.
Hi everyone, I'm Richard Giacovis. I'm here with Pete Kelly, graduate of '94 here at Iona. He is the Director of New Business Development for Major League Alumni Marketing. Pete, thanks for joining me.
My pleasure. It's great to be here. It really is.
I want to actually start that you were your career as a post-grad here in '94. When you graduated here, what were your plans initially when you were leaving?
I had no idea. And I was a journalism major. I thought I could write. And I probably, quite frankly, I'm going to speak about this tonight, I probably didn't do enough of the networking and all the opportunities that were in front of me. So I worked as a college recruiter for a little while, helping athletes get to the next level. And it was not really what I wanted to do. Read an article about a company called Steiner Sports right here in New Rochelle, and hammered the guy for about 2 months to get an interview. Really just stayed in front of him and ended up there about 6 months later, and I was there for about 15 years.
Okay. So. Now, Vice President of Steiner Sports is where for sales is where you eventually wound up.
Correct.
That's a big company.
In 96. Well,
in 96.
But in 96 it was a relatively small company.
Right.
Another gentleman had left, so it was kind of just, and one of the things we'll talk about tonight, just right place, right time. And just stayed in front of Brandon, who's the owner of Steiner Sports. And we had a good run till about I left in May of 2010.
And now what made you leave?
Better opportunities. Sometimes you get a little stale being in the same place for the same time, and I wanted to challenge myself a little bit more and kind of do more of a startup, almost what I did at Steiner, but I have more ownership in my new role.
Right.
So.
Now, you finished here with a BA in Mass Communication. So
Correct.
What was your participation in the Mass Communication program?
Very little. Very little. I mean, it was. I transferred in from. I went to a few schools. I'm not going to get into that, but I transferred in, and quite frankly, as I started, I really didn't know what I wanted to do. I liked writing. I was good at it. Thought I was going to try to do some work. Tried to get into Sports Illustrated, Golf Digest, and it just didn't pan out. So to answer that question, I really wasn't too involved in the program compared to where it probably is now,
right.
and would have done things a lot different. Okay. You know what I mean? Does that answer your question?
It does, because you know what? I think there are a lot of kids that are like you right now.
Absolutely.
And they don't really know what they want to do. And so you can kind of give them, what's the message to kids that are going to be graduating?
Well, use the technology today. You got to remember so when I graduated here, we didn't have the internet, we didn't have the social network, LinkedIn didn't exist, obviously. Network like you can, and use Iona, which has become well known as a very, very good school, especially in the East. There's so many alumni out there. The difference to me, though, is I'm going to always look at a potential hire who's persistent, always coming at me with a different idea. Send your resume to me differently. I had a kid send me a singing telegram resume. All right, he didn't get the job, but he got the interview. So, you know what I mean. You got to be persistent, and you can't use the people you know within your network.
Okay. Now we go to Major League Alumni Marketing. So what's the difference between that and what Steiner was?
So we work with the nonprofits. So all the players within Major League Alumni, Players Association alumni, not the Players Association, it's the alumni. They're part of our group. On two sides is we have the marketing and the memorabilia division. But everything we do, a portion goes back to our nonprofit to support all those players who have made the game of baseball so great. Very similar to Steiner, but we're focused essentially on baseball.
Okay. And now baseball, and Steiner is really all around baseball.
Yeah.
But when you talk about memorabilia, there's been a lot of news lately about steroid accusations, most recently Alex Rodriguez. Does that hurt sales of memorabilia?
Current, if the guy's current and it comes out, so I'm sure A-Rod sales are nothing right now. I'm sure people are shying away. You got to let it pass a little bit. I hate to say it that way, but in terms of marketing, he'll come back, he'll rebound, because I think we're a much more forgiving society now. Right. I think Lance Armstrong will be back. So, but to answer your question, unequivocally it hurts. For the older players who didn't have that, it's a different world. You know what I mean? It's more about a current situation right now.
So final message, post-graduation, there's a senior that's graduating this year. They're not really sure what they want to do. What's the final message to them?
Well, you got to try to know what you want to do. That's the hardest part. And a lot of kids, and I shouldn't say kids, young men and women come to me and say, I want to get into sports. The problem is what does that mean? Where do you want to go in sports? Do you want to do sales? Do you want to, do you want to do sponsorship? So number one, have a plan of get an idea of what you want to do. Go grab an internship if it's available to you, because the internships 90% of the time will lead to something else. And just network like it's your last day on earth. You got to just keep going.
Hi, I'm Allie O'Connor, and I'm here with Joshua Rabenovitz, who is the Director of Marketing at ESPN. Hi, Josh. How are you?
How are you? Good to meet you.
So I first want to ask you, how did you get into ESPN?
Through my network. I knew a couple people I previously worked with, and they're on the marketing side and had a need, and I was able to help them out for the immediate and the future.
Okay, so with ESPN being such a huge brand, how do you market for something that big?
Well, we divide up in groups, and we all have responsible properties or territories within the company, and collectively we all manage the brand and manage those particular properties, be it the NFL or motorsports or Sports Center or something of that nature. And we each plan to our specific and the areas that we're responsible for from a planning, strategy, and execution standpoint.
Okay. ESPN is the leading way for content on mobile devices. Can you discuss that marketing strategy?
Yeah, I mean, I could tell you a little bit about, from a mobile perspective, we're about providing our fans all the content that we have had on television, on our .com website, in a mobile bite-size application. And that might be Watch, that might be an application like Radio, that might be something for scores like Score Center, but allowing consumers within each of those apps to go really deep for the content that they're looking for. Rather than have, say, one size fits all, we kind of divide it up to allow them to go deep and stay where they want to stay.
So ESPN is now recognizing Latin market. So is there any thought of an ESPN in Europe?
I mean, ESPN's all over the globe. It might be in a subsidiary, it might be in a partnership. It really just depends where the rights are and where the broadcasting agreements are with our affiliates and throughout the network. So, we're in South America. Deportes is an American version, and we broadcast down south and north of the border. It's a huge and growing population here domestically. It's very, very important to us. You just have to be in the right place at the right time with the right broadcasting agreements to be able to fulfill the consumer demand, which in this case obviously is sports content.
Looking towards the future, what is the next big thing for ESPN?
Ooh, the next big thing. Well, we want to continue to have relevant content, in this case, obviously, sports, for our fans. So wherever sports takes us, we obviously want to be there covering it. We want it, to the degree possible, be exclusive, but do it in a responsible, authentic way that delivers the fans at home the best experience that they can possibly have, or on the go, getting them as close to the field, or as close to the court, or the track, or what be it, that they can get, whether it's from desktop or from their home, from their couch, or from their office.
Ali Madano here by Tony Chute, Iona alum. You got your MBA in 2010, and also brand and retail manager for the National Football League. Obviously a big weekend for you. Did you get the day off on Monday?
Actually, I didn't. We still had to work. Got to get ready for draft now.
Now, what role did you play in Super Bowl brand and retail marketing?
Basically, we created a lot of the retail elements around New Orleans. So we created the retail element within the stadium as well as the surrounding area.
And you didn't make it down to New Orleans, but what was the feedback? How did that go down there?
It went fabulous. Luckily, when the blackout occurred, our retail operations was still up.
And did it get better when they had the blackout, nothing else to do but shop around?
Exactly. Perfect scenario for us.
And retail, everything's going online nowadays. So how do you use retail in building the brand as far as online and social media?
Well, we utilize our NFL shop, our network there that houses every 32 teams that we have, as long as also with the team websites. So we drive a lot of traffic. If you can't find it in the store, go to the team website. If it's not in the team's website, go to NFLshop.com.
And the NFL is going to Europe. There's 2 big games in London in 2013. America is synonymous with football. That goes together. So what will that mean?
It'll be great to, further expand the game internationally. We don't have that presence like the NBA does. So getting people more involved in American football as opposed to soccer football will be great, because people get excited when people kick field goals or you're punting. We want them to get excited for the plays on the field.
And you're here at Iona to speak to students that are graduating. What's your message for them?
Just kind of, more, I guess, of job hunting and interview messaging. How do you get out there? How do you get your foot in the door?
Michael, you work primarily for the Billie Jean King National Tennis Center. What events and tournaments do you have coming up there?
Well, we're a facility which is open all year round, obviously. We have the Open, which is August and September, and then our courts are open to public play all year round. So, our court time's available. We have lessons. We also have junior tournaments, wheelchair tournaments, a summer camp over the summer. So there's a lot of things going on all the time.
And I know you're involved in the planning and prep for the U.S. Open. What stage is that in right now?
We're just kicking stuff off again. Obviously, once the Open ends in October, we recap a lot of stuff. Right after the first of the year, we go into the planning stages. So with our sponsors, our budgets, trying to get our arms around, what we did, which was great, and now we're moving on to bigger and better. So always changing, always looking at doing different things.
And what is coming up? What's going to be bigger and better for the U.S. Open than it has been in years past?
We're embarking on a big transformation on site, expanding our grounds, trying to put more people, at the event, experience it more. And we've got some tricks up our sleeves that, we'll come at you with. So always changing things. Exactly, all the time. So.
And USTA is a rec league, but professionally speaking, what is the USTA trying to do to bring or to develop professional tennis players, American professional tennis players? If you look, it's a lot of European and foreigners. You talked about a junior league. So what's being done to kind of develop those American players?
Well, we have our 10 and under tennis program, which is similar to other sports where you don't play on, a big court. So our courts are going to be, a quarter of the size. The rackets are bigger, all right, all the balls are bigger. Trying to teach, youngsters what the game's about, how to play the game. Right now, American tennis has some challenges right now, and we're taking steps in order to improve that. And so we've got some programs going, and we'll get there. We'll definitely get there.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Good.
Thanks so much, man. Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Can I get a picture
Sure.
to send to my mom? Although they all come from diverse sports backgrounds, their message for Iona students was universal. Nothing beats hard work and networking.
It comes back to some just kind of classic words of wisdom, which is don't burn bridges. Always know your audience, who you're talking to. Sell yourself. Be confident in yourself.
But the point is, you're young, but you're not that young. So before you know it, you're out there.
Pete Kelly put it best when he said, "The Iona name is powerful." Tonight's event certainly was a testament to that, based on a big turnout and great interaction between Iona students and our guests. Reporting from Hines Athletic Center, I'm Allie Madano.